Yo, call me a moaner the way I got a boner. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Game Sketch. Today, and only today, we have a ton of new Sonic Superstars information via Gameinformer that has dropped a whole article about it. We got some new key art and everything, so I just want to get into it. There's a lot of cool stuff. And as always, if you're enjoying the Sonic Superstars content and info and all this stuff, make sure to subscribe to your boy, support the content. Please, I want to stay at 50K here before the end of the summer, so please guys, I know a lot of you are watching these videos, just subscribe, man, just do it. Now, we're going to be getting our information from a ton of different websites, but here is the Gameinformer cover, which looks phenomenal. Love this. Chef's kiss, bro. I love this art of Sonic, Amy, Knuckles. It's just so, it feels so classic, but it feels modern. It's such a clean look, man. I love this gang with my life, and I just love seeing them in such a pristine, loved quality. Now, obviously, the Gameinformer has a lot of information, but thankfully, we have, talented people on Twitter that know how to gather this information and give us the right stuff to read. Also, the cover art does extend to Dr. Eggman here, chilling, just alone with his own Chaos Emerald on the ground, which is really interesting. I don't know what's going on with that, but it is what it is, I guess. I want everybody to give mega love to SSF 1991 for gathering all the information, the most important bits, and we're going to be going right into it. So first of all, we got some specifics on how the game's development cycle went. So Arzes and Oshima led development efforts on Sonic Superstars. Sonic Team collaborated frequently with Iizuka and Oshima, constantly sharing ideas and production duties. Once the direction of the title was determined, much of the development fell to Arzes, but Sonic Team was far hands-off. Members of Sonic Team, including Iizuka, even traveled from Burbank, California to Yokohama, Japan to work on development. Now, on Sonic Superstars. Now, obviously, this is a big deal, right? Because there was a lot of fear going into the game that Arzes was developing it just because of their history, right? They worked on stuff like Yoshi's New Island, Balan Wonderworld, New Hey Pikmin. Like, that's not the best history, but so far we know the physics feel like Mania, and we know that they've had Sonic Team Iizuka very hands-on with the project, so I think it's going to be safe. Another piece of interesting info on Twitter, Whitehead seemed to approve the work being done on Superstars, with one retweet about the game's physics simply containing the thumbs up emoji, with another stating, "We'll have more to say on this when it's appropriate, but Mania physics were indeed fully translated to modern." Despite Whitehead's confirmation this work was done, Iizuka says the engine is completely unique to Sonic Superstars. The programming was all done from scratch by Arzes. Now, that's actually really interesting. It's interesting in a sense that, like, yeah, even though they said that it's supposed to feel exactly one-to-one like Mania, and we've seen clips of it, it is actually built from the ground up, which, I don't know, shows, I guess, how devoted the team is, or how much they really analyzed it and looked into it, because, like I said, when I played it too, it felt a little different, but it definitely felt like classic Mania, pretty much one-to-one. We also had one more piece of info that I want to address / talk about, which is Mania II, or what happened with, Christian Whitehead and that team, right? So, in 2021 reports of a gaming insider named Zippo servers that internal plans to create a successor to Sonic Mania had been scrapped due to differences between Sonic Mania's developers and Sega. While not directly confirming that particular report, Sonic Team creative officer Iizuka confirms that he had talks with Whitehead for following the release of Mania. There was a period after the development of Mania where we worked with them to consider concepts for the next generation of classic Sonic, Iizuka says. It's too bad that it didn't become a finished game. Still, I'm pleased that the next generation of classic Sonic that we talked about with them had been achieved with Superstars. So I think we could put this misconception to rest that Mania 2 was scrapped or anything. I think what he's saying here is that, like, they were going to work on effectively Sonic Superstars together and the ideas and everything that came with it, but there was some disagreements. Now, I'm guessing that maybe it was going to be sprite based, or it's going to be hand-drawn or something, but they decided to go with 3D models. I don't know what it could have been, disagreement-wise or whatever, but it does seem like they're saying that whatever the vision was for the sequel to Mania is Superstars, and based on all we know today, Superstars is going to be fucking cracked. Now, again, I'm only gathering the most important bits here, but this is important. We know why Green Hill Zone kept coming back. Well-known stages like Green Hill have made a return appearance in many games. That's because it was necessary from a story point of view, Iizuka says. This time, Sonic Superstars is set on a brand new island that hasn't been seen before, so we plan to have all new stages from the beginning. I mean, if you want to be a smartass, that is kind of true, right? Again, when you think of Generations, Green Hill had to be there. When you think of Mania, Green Hill had to be there. When you think of games like, Forces, I mean, we don't have to talk about Forces. Actually, no, wait, it was in Frontiers. Never mind. This excuse is bullshit. Now, another mega big deal is we have the full confirmation of character-specific Act 2. So, following my time getting to know Sonic Superstars through the opening zone, I used the rest of my hands-on hours to see what other locales this game had to offer. Speed Jungle Zone Act 1 offers vines to grind on to send you flying upwards alongside Mosquito Robot boss fight that fires harpoons that stick into the ground so you can run up and attack during Act 1, even grab the red Chaos Emerald, yada yada yada. But here's the big thing. After completing Act 1, I'm given the option to play Act 2 or a different section called Act Sonic. This alternate, what's called Act of the Speed Jungle lets you run through the stage as Sonic, but with Fang terrorizing you the whole way. I don't get any additional context as to what incentive you play this seemingly optional, more challenging stages, which ends up in a chase scene where you need to run away from Fang, but it feels like there may be some reasons to complete that. That is awesome. To me, leaning on more character-specific zones and acts is going to lead to more replay value, which is always what I adore about Sonic games, and especially 2D Sonic games, bro. That nice replay value. Now, a big deal is we have the confirmation of a world map, so I also get a glimpse of the world map, which is reminiscent of Sonic Generations Hub World, where you are running around a 2D plane and selecting your zone in addition to various zones. So, yeah, we have the return of a hub world, which I'm always happy about. You know, I'm not always the biggest fan of just, you know, menu drop into the next stages. Give me a nice little hub, you know, with some extra things to do, some little bells and whistles, some activities in there. Now, here is a big one about the customization. So, in addition to the various zones on offer, I find the in-game shop where I can trade collectible medals for customization parts. The menu, the build I'm playing gives you the option to acquire custom parts for the head, body, arms, legs, accessories, color pattern, and something called prototype. I'm not sure how customization will work, and Izuka plays coy when I ask him about it, so sadly I don't have any additional info on it beyond the fact that it exists and there will be the Lego co-op. So I wonder what the hell this means, because having custom parts for the head, the body, arms, legs, and everything, that sounds like a lot. Like, are you telling me I'm gonna choose, you know, what gloves Sonic has, or like, you know, what hat he's wearing and what armor he's wearing? Like, if we're going that crazy with customization, I would adore that. You know, where you could have, you know, a voxel head and maybe, you know, classic Sonic body, maybe, you know, a Chips ring. I would love if they go that crazy with, but I don't know, something about this sounds weird to me. Like, this sounds custom character-y, not to freak people out, but I don't know, that feels like that's a lot of customization. That would be, I feel like, a lot of work. And yeah, again, I'm down for it. I would love if every character, you know, you could give any character Knuckles' cowboy hat. You can give any character, you know, a ring or another helmet or something. But like, that's a lot of customization. I'd love to know. I just need to see this. Also, a nice quality of life feature. It doesn't sound like you need to repeat full playthroughs with each character. You can simply change to a different character whenever you want and pick where you left off. I love that, actually. You know, it's not a save file isn't tied to a specific character. You can kind of just swap whenever. I think that's a good quality of life change. So the sky zones that we're seeing in pictures today are called Sky Temple Zone. I'm going to show you the pictures after, by the way. It's one act, but it's a long one. So let's see this. So I'm on Sky Temple Zone. A bridge island zone takes cues from other iconic starting zones in Sonic history. Sky Temple Zone takes some inspiration from Sky Sanctuary, but with different badniks and even a repeated mini-game reminiscent of the classic game Breakout, where your character becomes a ball and you need to aim to break through various breaks. Sky Temple is a unique one that is Act 1, takes me around 9 minutes to complete, but is the only act of this zone. So I kind of like that, you know, the idea of like almost a mega zone, like one big zone where you're really exploring and you have a lot to go through and all that. Like, that's kind of a cool idea. I do hope that that doesn't mean that there's going to be a lot of those, because we know the game is supposed to have 13 different zones. So I do hope that, you know, we don't have multiple zones that are just one act. But again, if it's the length of, you know, what a zone would be with 2 to 3 acts, you know, 2 acts and a boss, that I think it's fine. But I like the idea of this. Now we have info on the other zone we saw from the Nintendo Direct, which is like that pinball zone. So since the game's early journeys, Sonic has brought to several pinball themed stages, and that carries on the Pinball Carnival Zone. The zone is largely self-explanatory, with a giant pinball area and fast sequences with fireworks setting off. We got Knuckles fighting a giant pink pig. We also have the reveal that Amy has her own exclusive level in Act Lagoon City Zone. Lagoon City Zone, this fruit-themed stage lets me use Amy's hammer to blast through huge fruit and fruit-based enemies, including a grape robot and a watermelon with a gun. Near the end of the stage, I find an armored character who looks lost. Shout out to Trip. Amy offers to help this creature, and the rest of the stage becomes an escort mission of sorts, which Amy carrying her, unable to attack. So interesting. I'm really loving the shit I'm hearing about this game, man. This character is Trip, a creation of Oshima. His first new character created for Sonic franchise in decades. Oshima worked closely with Izuka to come up with ideas for the new character. We sent visuals back and forth and had an ongoing dialogue about what the personality should be like. Oshima says ideas came up for the character's actions and themes, like Armored Lizard and the Ouroboros. I worked on the design while discussing the ideas. Again, I don't know if we're gonna see Trip's full design or what at some point, if they're gonna be armored like that the whole time, but I'm very excited. So we got 2 more zones mentioned. Desert Zone zone called Sand Sanctuary, which is awesome, and an unknown zone called Press Factory, which I have a picture of. I'm going to show you later. So that's a big bulk of the info, but we have a little bit more from Tails' channel where they revealed all the Chaos Emerald abilities in the game. So we have Avatar, which is the one we've seen, you know, where the shadow clones. We have a new one we haven't seen it called Bullet. Allows you to blast your character into a specific direction, which I think could be really cool, especially, you know, when you're playing Sonic and you can't necessarily fly around as Tails. You know, you can launch yourself somewhere. That could be really cool. Or for a boss fight, could be really dope. We also have a water power, which characters can move easy and traverse underwater and climb all sides. So that's cool that the water power that worked on the waterfalls can actually work in the literal water levels, which might make water levels bearable finally. Now this power is cool. Ivy grows vines where your character stands to help you reach new areas. On co-op, teammates can use Ivy to reach new areas. That's awesome. So you can just grow a vine in the middle of nowhere to sort of just help you get somewhere you need to for a collectible coin. We also have Vision, which we saw in the Nintendo Direct, that makes objects show up. And the last one, we have Slow, which slows down everything on screen. We kind of just see, you know, Sonic standing in the air here. Now, one of the coolest aspects of the game is each character has one specific ability for their 7th Chaos Emerald power. For Sonic, you get the homing attack. For Amy, you get the hammer throw, which we saw debut in Sonic Origins. Plus, with Knuckles, we get a punch. With Tails, we get a tornado spin. And of course, every character gets a super. Characters turn invincible and become faster, with rings depleting over time, as you would expect. We do have some information on super, right? As with most games that include Chaos Emeralds, once you collect all 7 of them, you gain access to the ability to turn to a super version of your character. For each character, you can turn to super, and their movesets remain the same. For example, Tails doesn't gain super power flickies as he did in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Instead, each character turns invincible and becomes faster, with rings depleting. So, yeah, shout out the idea of them probably having unique designs. It is probably just going to be them, you know, glowing again, and Sonic will be the only one looking like Super Sonic. So a little disappointing, but it is what it is. So that's all there is in terms of information. We do have screenshots that they have provided for us that we can go ahead and check out here. So we have a look at the Avatar ability. Again, game looking gorgeous. We've got this shot of the homing attack that we saw earlier. We've got vine climbing Sonic, which is really cool. We've got the slow move. The slow move seems kind of like whatever to me. I feel like I'm not really going to use that. The vision move, kind of just looking crispy. I love the game's look. This one. Now we have a look at this cool golden city-like zone, which I really love. Everything's covered in gold. There's even this golden pig Knuckles is fighting here, which I find is super dope. Here again, another look at the gold city with Tails kind of getting shot up from a gold cannon. I love gold aesthetics in games. Look at Tails fighting, you little factory. And this stage, one of my favorite looks, this like sort of like nighttime Dr. Eggman factory type area. You know, everything green and black. I love that look whenever they go for it. I love everything about this. I'm so happy. Here's a look of that Sky Temple zone they were saying is 9 minutes long, and this looks like it's gonna be a really fun one, man. Very also this Sonic right here looking very Toei-like, you know, old school Sonic from CD. And we get another look at this sky area, which kind of reminds me of Sonic Adventure. What is it, Wind Valley? But yeah, that's all the info we got on the game. I cannot believe how much good information I'm hearing about this. I also know the person who got to play the game, and I'll probably be interviewing him soon to get a little more information. But from hearing there's a hub world, to seeing the unique zones, to seeing all the quality of life fixes, and even the emerald power-ups, which I think, like I said, I know some people think are kind of gimmicky, and I kind of agree with that. I feel like I'm not going to spend all the time using these powers. I still think a lot of them are going to make replaying the levels more fun. Like, I think the water one is a big deal to enjoy water levels. I feel like the vine is going to help you get to different areas. I feel like it's going to, all these things are just going to help you incentivize replay value, exploration. And I'm just so curious on the customization. Like, to me, costumes and all this stuff are things like, I feel like Sega has seen modders do so much. I think it would be smart of them to just embrace it and do it as much as they can themselves. So I'm hoping they go crazy with the customization. But yeah, that's everything on Sonic Superstars so far, except a release date. I will probably interview the person doing this. We'll probably get more information throughout the month, and Gamescom is sure likely to get a lot of info next month. So guys, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you all think, and of course, I'll see you all next time. Peace out.